والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وأرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه واحشرنا في زمرة عبادك الصالحين. So for those brothers, I'm not sure about sisters, so if you want to come in and just face the projector so we can have interaction lecture here. It's going to be about an hour. So what I'm going to be discussing is the Fiqh of Ramadan with the focus on fasting and all the ruling and ahkam to do with the fasting. I know a lot of you will have questions, so I'm going to try to address some of those questions during my presentation. And during the presentation, if you have a question, just ask. I'm going to try to answer. If I know the answer is in the presentation, I'll tell you, just wait. So the topic is about an hour, a little over an hour. So this one is done through a lot of researchers. I'm going to be tackling it from all the four madahib, so you get to know all the opinions and everything you need to know. Inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us tawfiq to make this in our scale. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to yuballighna Ramadan and make a month where He writes us among those who will be saved from hellfire. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. Brothers and sisters, one of the agenda we're going to discuss today is one of the benefits of fasting. What are the conditions of fasting? Who's allowed to break the fast? What nullify the fast? This is really the common question that has been asked. And then what are the things you should do and you should not do? And what are the acts that does not break the fast? And then we'll talk about how to make up the fast that you miss. And then finally we'll finish with Sunan fast. When it comes to Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So this verse is explicit saying Ramadan is obligatory. So that means what happens if someone does not fast Ramadan? Is he kafir? What's the situation of that person? According to majority ulama, anybody who does not believe in fasting, he's kafir. This is anonymous by all the ulama. But if he does not fast just out of negligence, he's not kafir, he's just making major sin. What type of fasting do we have? We have Ramadan. Everybody knows Ramadan. That's the month that we fast, the holiest month. Then there is also another when someone vows to Allah that he's going to fast. I.e., someone said, if I get this job, I will fast 5 days, for example. That 5 days become now so obligatory on him to fast, or her. This is called another. The third category, al-kafara. And I'm going to explain what that means. There are a lot of sins and or violation of the law of the Islamic law where it required expiation. That expiation involves kafara. And I'll explain what that means. Kafara could be freeing a slave, it could be fasting, it could be feeding needy people, and so forth. But now, specifically to the Ramadan, I'm going to dive into that in more detail later on. Then we have al-qada. Al-qada is basically making up the day that you miss. This is what the word qada. And finally, an-nafl, which basically supererogatory fasting like Monday and Thursday and the 3 days of the month, Ashura. This is all called an-nafl. Okay, the benefit of Ramadan, there's so many benefits. I'm only going to share with you a few hadiths in the verses, inshallah. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he told us about Atakum Ramadan, Shahrul Mubarak, I'm going to display English and Arabic here. So he said, there comes to you a month of Ramadan, a blessed month, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has enjoined for you to fast. That's the month where the gates of the heaven open, the gates of hellfire close, and every devil is chained. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a night in it that is better than 1,000 months, and that's Laylatul Qadr. And whoever is deprived from its goodness is indeed being deprived. So another benefit where Rasul said, "Man qama Laylatul Qadr iman wa ihtisaban ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbihi, wa man sama Ramadan iman wa ihtisaban ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbihi." So basically, there's many hadith like that has similar phrase. It says whoever did establish or perform that nights of Qadr, which we all know that's usually the last 10 nights, that's where Laylatul Qadr can happen. Then he said, whoever did that out of iman, out of faith, and ihtisaban, seeking the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu will forgive all his sins. And then whoever fasts Ramadan the same way, out of faith and in a way that he is seeking the award from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu will forgive all his sins. Another beautiful hadith where Rasul said, in general, whoever fasts a day, masama yawman fi sabilillah azza wa jal, ba'ad Allahu wajahu min jahannam 70 aman. Whoever fasts one day, Allah subhanahu will keep the hellfire away from you by 70 years, subhanallah. Other benefit, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a door, it's called Ar-Rayyan, in Jannah, that is designated for the people who fast regularly. And Rasul he said in Sahih Muslim that nobody will enter through that door except people who are regularly fasting. And then when the last person enters it, then the door will close and no one is allowed to go there. And this is a Bab or Rayyan dedicated for regular faster. Now, when it comes to Siyam and when it comes to Fiqh, ulama al-Fiqh, they tend to focus so much on the outside, like do this harakah, this movement, fast. They just focus on the outer dimension. But there's something even more important about the fasting. And this is where I really need to focus on. Ibn Qadama, in his book, Manahij al-Qasidin, subhanAllah, he said there are different levels of fasting. The first level that we all know is the aura, the outer dimension of the fasting. He called it Sawm al-Umum. This is basically you're refraining from eating, drinking, and intimacy. But then there is a next level, which is the next layer, if you want. It's almost like onion. You're peeling the onion, and you go in, and you find then the core of the onion. That is what we should be focusing on. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. So the second level, he said, Sawm al-Khusus. Basically, your limbs, your tongue, your hand, your eye, everything should be fasting too, right? So that's the next layer. The third layer that he said, that it's called Sawm Khusus al-Khusus. That means your heart should be fasting now. Your heart should be fasting. You should refrain from getting too much indulged in things that is worthy thing, like cell phone, like TV, like news, all that stuff that we should not be engaged. We should refrain and cut down some of that because that will help you be engaged more with dhikr and remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and so forth. And that's really why it's important that we focus on this dimension, the third dimension. The fourth dimension, he said, is that the nafs. Now, I want you to remember this, ya akhwani. When you hear the hadith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chained the devil, which is the jinn devil, that come and whisper to us. There's another whispering. Anybody knows the other whispering comes from where? From the nafs, right? So the reason why Allah chained the devil, so we can focus on our nafs, because this nafs needs to be disciplined, right? So Ibn Qadama said the fourth characteristic of fasting is that in nafs, you're given a little food, right, during night. So you need to be careful not to overeat, because the more you eat, you're not going to have the energy, you're not going to be able to do tarawih, you're not going to be able to do qiyam al-layl. And this is something we need to cut down on, overeating in night. He also said that the fasting, if I broke it down into three areas, he said it's all about the nafs. And he said, subhanAllah, that the nafs, you're giving it the food, when you're not fasting, you're giving it its rights. That means you allow it to enjoy some of the food, some of the intimacy and other things that is halal. But when it comes to fasting, now it's time for the nafs to engage in worshiping Allah. So that's what the nafs is. The nafs, you can't just let it do whatever it wants. You need to control it, right? And so the other thing he said, subhanAllah, how during the day, it's all about sabr. You're teaching yourself, the nafs, to be patient. Because a patient, ya akhwani, has 3 layers. There's a patient on how to worship Allah. Because that patient is the one who's going to make you getting up in the fajr. There's also patient that help you stay away from ma'siyah. That's another patient. And then there's another patient which is in calamity. So in Ramadan, you're supposed to teach your nafs this sabr, this patience, to be able to handle the 3 areas of sabr, subhanAllah. And then he said in night is you given the food and you went out, you're supposed to be, and that food and intimacy, anything that's halal you do in night, that's supposed to give you a sense of being grateful. You're supposed to be thankful to Allah for giving you that. So that's one of the wisdom of fasting. And he said that the nafs, it's like it's you have to if you custom your nafs to do certain things, it's gonna stay in those certain things. You have to teach yourself, and it's a school, and it's a month of school of reforming yourself, the nafs. That's really the inner dimension or maqasid of siyam. Okay, the pillars of fasting, there are 2 pillars. The first one is intention. When I say pillar, like pillar of the house. If you don't have a pillar, the whole house will crashes, right? So it's important that you realize that there is 2 levels of pillars, the niyyah, and then abstaining from anything that can nullify the siyam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال وكلوا واشربوا حتى يتبين لكم الخيط الأبيض من الخيط الأسود من الفجر ثم أتموا الصيام إلى الليل. So you're supposed to do that to refrain from eating, drinking, intimacy from dawn to sunset. And then you have to have the intention. Those are 2 elements of siyam. When it comes to niyyah, this is a little bit controversial between ulama. Should you do one intention or should you do intention every night? Really, this is very, very important question, right? According to ulama, and that means the madhab al-maliki, al-hanbali, al-shafi'i, you're supposed to do every night because they consider every night as one ibadah. Nights and day, one ibadah. Every 24 hours, they consider one ibadah. So you're supposed to do intention every night. Al-madhab maliki, they consider the whole Ramadan as one ibadah. And they said you only have to do one intention. Ulama, and this is by even madhab al-fatwa, al-lajna al-da'ima, the great Fiqh Council of Saudi, they said one intention is enough. Why? Because most of us schedule the alarm for suhoor. We do a lot of those things. That's intention. The fact that you're setting the alarm for suhoor, you've already making intention every night. So you don't have to go too technical. Make one intention and just inshallah every day, every night, have the intention and plan to get up for suhoor. And that will take care of the whole every night intention, because we don't want to make it too complicated. So if one intention is good, but you need to kind of make a plan that you're getting up for suhoor and all that, inshallah, it will be good. All right, here comes another topic, which is to do with condition of permissibility. So this is shurut. It's called shurut al-wujub wa shurut al-sihha. Who's supposed to fast? It has to be a Muslim, mentally sane, puberty, and I'll talk about puberty in minutes. Since we don't have a lot of kids, I can probably be more explicit today. Puberty, that means for the boy, is the one who have had a wet dream. It's considered now puber, has reached puberty for the male. For the sisters, if she reached the monthly or period. Now, if the boy and the girl did not get that sign, they did not, the boy didn't have a wet dream and the girl have not reached her puberty, she didn't have her period, what to do? According to all scholar ulama agreed by, is when you reach 15 years old, then absolutely the person have reached puberty. 15 years old. But if they've got those signs of puberty, then they can fast. The next thing is for sisters, they need to be free from menstruation and post-birth natal bleeding. And the final one is you should be able to fast, mean healthy and not traveling. If you travel, we'll discuss that later, inshallah. And also, what does that mean, healthy? I'm going to explain that in a minute. Who's allowed to break fast? You get sick, traveler, women going through her period, menstruation, postnatal impurity, pregnant and breastfeeding, and I'm going to discuss this even more, what that means. And then you have someone who's incapable to fast, like an old person, or something terminally sick, like incurable sickness. Those also allowed to break the fast. Okay, what's considered traveling? Traveling, this is not gonna come up a lot, even when you're trying to do shortened salats and you travel. This question comes up a lot. So the way you know you're traveling, if you're traveling 50 miles or more, which is 81 kilometers. If you're traveling 50 miles or more, and you're staying, and wherever you're staying, within this duration, this is where it's very complicated. So ulama says, if you are 50 miles away, you're gonna drive or you're gonna fly 50 miles or more. Then you're gonna stay there. You have an intention to come back, and you're only gonna stay, let's say, 3 days or less. This is the first conservative opinion. Then you are traveling. You're allowed to shorten salat, and you're allowed to break the fast during the trip and when you get there. Another opinion said 15 days, and this is Madhab al-Hanafi. 15 days or less, you can do that. Another opinion, 19 days. Another opinion, Ibn Qayyim, Ibn Taymiyyah, said wherever you're going, and you're coming back, it doesn't matter how long you're going to stay there, you are traveling. So if you're going 50 miles or more, and you plan coming back, like Umrah, Hajj, you stay in a month, whatever, that's another opinion. So, and this is the opinion that I follow personally. If it's a mindset, like if you stay in a hotel for a month, you are traveling. But if you get an apartment and you do grocery and you live a normal life like a resident, you're not a traveler. So it's all here in mindset. And this is one of the opinion, Allahu Alam. The conservative way, if you want to go conservative, is 3 days or less with 50 miles. Okay. Now, next one, a sickness. Rasulullah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أيام معدودات فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر. He said, it's you have extra days for specific days. That means those are days you can fast. And whoever's sick or traveling, then you have other days you can make it up. So now here comes the interesting question here. Now, am I allowed to, when can I guess the fast can be broken due to sickness. But the question, where is the sickness? Which sickness? Is there a headache? Or is that broken an arm? What type of sickness is that allowing me to break the fast? Ulama said if the sickness will be worsened, then you should break the fast. If you fast and you become sick, it makes you sick, then you should break the fast. Like diabetic, right? There are a lot of sickness like that where if they don't eat, they'll get sicker. Then you should break the fast. If it said if sickness will pass, misday. In other words, let me explain what this means. If the person is sick and is curable, right? Then he has to make it up later on. I'll talk more about this. If the person has sickness that is incurable, then he has to feed for every day he or she missed. Okay, and I just explained it. Here comes what I just said. So if the person is sick, in other words, permanent sick, or is very old, not able to fast, there is hadith or athar by Abdullah ibn Abbas, fi Sahih Bukhari, where he said, وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ فِدْيَةٌ طَعَامُ مِسْكِينٍ. Right? So this is the interpretation. And he said, radiyallahu anhu, he said, that الشيخ الكبير والمرأة الكبيرة لا يستطيعون أن يصوما. So this is this specific hadith, and he's explained this verse from Quran, how both the old man and old woman cannot fast. This also, ulama use this as evidence for the one who has terminally sick, that they are allowed to feed for the day that they miss. Okay. If travel does not impact personal health, the fasting is better. If person, traveling, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you permission to not fast if you want to. But if you're traveling on airplane, very comfortable, you have a choice to fast or not to fast. Okay? Okay. So this is the summary. If fast doesn't cause any harm, then you go ahead and fast. You don't want to fast, it's your choice. It's really you got choice to do either way. Now, I'm just going to go into summary. It is a summary about traveling. If there's no hardship while traveling, fasting or not fasting is permissible, because of the following hadith, Rasulullah when he told Hamza bin Amr al-Aslami, he used to fast a lot, and he asked him, should I fast or not? I'm traveling. He said, do whatever you like. In shi'ta fasim, or in shi'ta fa'aftar. Okay. This is a little bit confusing, so I'm going to try to explain this. Imagine you are traveling. Should you break the fast or not? Let's say you're fasting and you decide to travel. You're fasting and you get on a plane. Should you break that fast or not? There's different opinion among scholars. Subhanallah. Al-Madhab al-Hanafi al-Maliki, they said, if you're fasting, you get in a plane, and you're going to be traveling, you cannot break that fast. That's their opinion. Another opinion said, no, you can do that. That's the Madhab Shafi'i. Said, if you travel from the dawn, from the Fajr, you're allowed to do it. The easiest Madhab, this is authorized opinion. If you're fasting and you travel in a plane, you decide to eat, go ahead, eat. And this is the authorized opinion by Madhab al-Hanbali. The point is this, ya akhwani, you have a choice, right? You have a choice. Now, I'm going to give you a tricky question. Imagine you are fasting, right? Now, you are let's say you're not fasting. You decide not to fast. And you go in and you're going to catch the plane, and the plane has been canceled. That's it. You're going to go back home. Should you fast or not? You made intention before you travel that you're not going to fast. You get into the plane canceled, the trip, and your wife said, you're coming back? Yeah, I'm coming back home. What should you do? You cannot fast because you made intention early that you're not going to fast. You understand? It's very important that you understand that type. Okay. Yes. Right, but I'm talking about that specific day. So let's say he has intention, he said, I'm going to fast all Ramadan. But then he has a trip, he has to go to California. And he told his wife, tomorrow, Sunday, right? So tomorrow, I'm not going to fast. I'm traveling. You understand? I'm traveling. Then he made intention he's going to eat. No, he cannot change his intention. You understand? I'm going to talk about this, very important. Changing the intention could actually break your fast. Do you know that? I'm going to give you an example. Say I'm fasting. And then I know I'm traveling, but I decide to fast, but I'm on the road, right? So I'm fasting. I decide not to eat today. I'm feeling good. I'm going to continue fasting. I'm driving, 100 miles on the road. The day is beautiful. And then I get hungry. And I called my wife and said, let's go eat. Let's go eat. Decide to break the fast. Okay? Let's go eat. They go to a restaurant, and the restaurant is closed. What should he do? You understand the question? He've already broke the intention. That's it. There is no fasting. He has broke it. Even though restaurant is closed, he has broke the intention, the fasting is gone. You understand? Because ulama said the ibadah, the intention has to stay like this. They have to go together, right? It's the same for salat. If you're praying, you made intention to leave. Like, if I leave, people are going to start looking at me weird. You have broke the intention of salat. Subhanallah. So be careful with intention. When it comes to when can you eat, let's say I've decided tomorrow I'm not going to fast. Right? I'm not going to fast. I'm traveling. When can you eat? When can you eat? You can eat after you leave the city. And this is by consensus of ulama. Once you leave the city, you left your city, then you can start eating. And this is the opinion of all the ulama. All right. This is your favorite topic. What breaks the fast? Man, this is where a lot of questions comes up. Okay, the first one, drinking, eating deliberately. Next one, putting any object in your body, solid or fluid, through any opening of your body, if you know what I'm talking about. Next one, menstruation and post-birth bleeding for our sisters. Discharge of semen, either after kissing or repeated looking, and I'll explain what this means more and more. And then intentionally vomiting. Someone actually made themselves to vomit. This is also will break the fast. Breaking intentional fasting. I just told you about this today, right? About going to a restaurant. And intercourse with spouses. And I'll dive into each one of them with detail. The first one, eating and drinking deliberately. What happened here? Ulama says, this is a different opinion about sukar again. Always different opinion, my goodness. The first one, if someone eat deliberately or drink some fluid, whatever, of course halal, then it is only qada. And this is madhab Shafi'i and Hanbali. The strongest opinion, you just have to make up a day. There's another opinion by Imam Malik, very strong. He add a kafara in addition to this. But like I said, the strongest opinion, if somebody eat deliberately or drink deliberately, then they should just make it up. But he's making some serious sin by doing that. All right, semination. Semination means any form of kissing the spouse with pleasure or repeated looking at something that is haram. And this is excluding intercourse. This will break the fast. And it has to make it up, and there is no kafara. This is the strongest opinion by ulama. Throwing up deliberately, right? Rasul said, what he said, أنه كان يقول من استاق وهو صائم فعليه القضاء ومن ذرعه القيء فليس عليه القضاء. So if vomiting just was, you don't have a choice, it just came up, you're okay. But if you intentionally, you want to make yourself to vomit, then that's a problem. That will break your fast. Next one, menstruation. We don't have any sister here, but it's good to know for your daughters and your wife. It's good that you get educated on this. Now, if a sister, subhanAllah, if they start bleeding even 5 minutes before Maghrib, then they've lost the whole day. Allah will award them for the hour that they fast, but they have to break the fast because women who's bleeding, it is haram for her to fast. Right? Okay. And of course, there's many hadith like that where Aisha radiallahu anha, she said, for the woman who's bleeding, she doesn't have to fast, she doesn't have to pray, but she has to make up the fasting. And I'll explain that in much more detail. Intention. So if someone breaks the intention, is fasting nullified? I just gave you the example, which is right here. Then, inshallah, injection. This is vaccination. If someone put a vaccination, any vaccination that has nutrition, right? Has any nutrition, then it breaks the fast. If it does not have any nutrition, you're okay. Okay? Regular injection. Blood cleaning, dialysis, it's also break the fast because it has some fluid, some food in it that goes in it. Okay, next one. This is a little bit controversial, but I'm going to be super honest with you on this. Breaking the fast. Let's say someone, Fajr, what time is Fajr now? 6:15. Let's say someone kept eating, and at 6:20, he was still eating. Then he stopped at 6:20. Then he realized, oh man, Fajr, I've gone. I've eaten after Fajr, right? No, sorry, that's Iqamah, 6:15. What's the local time? 6 o'clock? No, 5:55, something like that. So if it's 5:55 is local time, and the person is eating like 6:10 or something, and he forgot, what does she do? Different opinions. Some said, no, it's okay. Some said, no, he has to make it up. And that's the safest way, in my opinion. You should just make it up. He's not committing sin because he didn't do it intentionally. The same thing goes for someone who eats before sunset. You know, sunset right now, what time sunset? 6:19. Let's say he eats at 6 o'clock and realize, oh man, you know, sunset is not here yet. What does he do? According to some ulama, is okay. Other ulama said you should make it up. I tell you what, safest to get out of issues, just make it up. خروج من الخلاف. Okay, here comes the explicit stuff. Sexual intercourse between man and woman. If someone did this, it's a major sin. Right? It is the worst thing can be done in Ramadan, by the way. And I'll talk about the expiation of that. Next one, can we fast in doubtful day? No, you shouldn't. Say, if Ramadan, when is Ramadan now? It's going to start Saturday? Saturday, I think, right? Saturday. So you should not fast Friday and Thursday, according to this hadith. 1 day or 2 days before that. And Allahu Alam, because it's one has a wisdom behind it. One of the illah, if you want to call it, is if the person never fasts that many days, he's not a regular fast. He doesn't fast normally. He just had to fast those 2 days. He can, but it's going to make him tired because you want to be strong. You want to have all the energy for Ramadan. That is one of the reasons why ulama don't want to do this. Another reason, it could be the doubtful day for fasting. Wallahu alam. It's better just to avoid those 2 days. The thing that does not break fast. All right, here comes the summer surprise for you guys. The first one, rinsing the mouth and nose, taking a shower. Even swimming. You can go for a swim, just don't let the water go inside your throat. Next one, tasting food without swallowing it. It also does not break the fast. Other things like kissing spouse without pleasure does not break the fast. Rasulullah used to kiss his wife before he leaves. But he told in hadith that I'm more control. I can control myself more than you do. He said that in his hadith, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He's right here. He said, Rasulullah said, كَانَ يُقَبِّلُ وَهُوَ صَائِمٌ وَكَانَ أَمْلَكُمْ يَا That means he was more stronger, you know, as far as control than using inhaler. That does not break the fast. And please, you can shout anytime if you have a question. Does not break the fast. No. If it has nutrition, you shouldn't do it. But generally, the one for asthma, ulama allow that. Right? Because there's no food in it. But if something in it, like a food, then you stay away from it. Okay, blood donation and cupping. So if you do blood test, if you go to blood test for a normal physical, annual physical, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But if you draw blood, because you draw a lot of blood, right? Or cupping, this is a different opinion. Al-Madhab al-Hanbali said you should not do it. And there's illah for that reason, because they said it make you weak and make you tired. But if you do it, just be careful. It generally doesn't break the fast, but if you're gonna draw a lot, it's gonna make you tired. It's better to avoid it. Here comes the controversial stuff. We have a nose drop, ear drop, eye drop. Does that break the fast or not? So when it comes to nose drop, different opinion. Some ulama said, yeah, it breaks, some doesn't. The conservative, or maybe the safest way, if you do any nose drop, do it in night. If you have to do it a small amount. Because the nose is the closest to the throat. The closest is the throat. Unlike the eye and the ear, they are far from it. So this is what you should. Some ulama said there is no food in it, so it's okay. And this is by a great scholar like Ibn Taymiyyah, and many ulama said it's okay to use nose drop because it's not a food that you can eat. But if you want to be conservative, use very little, and just if you feel it in your throat, just spit it out. Inshallah, you'll be fine. The eye drop, again, the same thing. Some ulama said it doesn't break that. Some ulama said yes. Wallahu alam, the strongest opinion, you'll find you can use the eye drop. But again, if you do too much of it and you start feeling it in your throat, just spill it out. Inshallah, you'll be fine. Same thing for ear drop. What does not break the fast? You go to dental, you brush your teeth, miswak, none of that break the fast. Can someone tell me what's the condition? What should you do? Can you swallow it? No, you cannot swallow it. That's the only thing that ulama said. You can do miswak, you can do toothbrush, you can do dental. Just don't let anything goes in your throat. That's it. Of course, it's tough. In the dentist, I don't know if I can handle that. Usually, I don't schedule my dentist in Ramadan. Do outside. But the brush, I brush my teeth, miswak, but I just don't let anything goes in my throat. And you should do it before dawn. That would be my recommendation. Do it before you break the fast. As soon as you stop eating, suhoor, brush your teeth. This is what I do. Okay, janaba. Let me ask, I want to get you involved now. If someone get up in janaba, let's say overslept, and he didn't wake up until after Fajr, and he was in janaba, what should the person do? Is his fasting nullified? What do you think? Is gone? Anybody else? Fasting? Who fasting? Who said this? Okay, who said that? You said that, right? There's nothing wrong with fasting. And the reason why, because janaba has to do with salat, not siyam. Has to do with salat, not siyam. So even a woman, let's say she was bleeding, the menstruation, and then she stopped 5 minutes before, or maybe, 5 minutes before the Fajr, but she did not take shower until 10 o'clock. Her fast is okay. Because the ghusl for her and also janaba is only for salat. Siyam is fine. Okay? But you should not delay because you got to pray Fajr. That's my point. So it doesn't. And here is the al-ghusl can be performed after Fajr if you missed it, but there's no impact on Siyam. This is one of the common questions is asked. Okay, al-madi. Everybody know what madi is? Al-madi is like a clear liquid that comes from a male in anticipation of intercourse. This one, it does not break the fast, but for salat, we'll do this in salat inshallah in future, it does affect salat. You have to clean it and you do make a wudu. It does break the wudu. But it doesn't have any impact on fasting. Okay, qada, making up. How do you make up the missing fasting? It must be done right after Ramadan. You should always hasten in doing it. You should not delay it. Let me ask the question, see if you are paying attention. No, I haven't said that yet. I'm just testing you. If, let's say, Sha'ban now, right? We're in Sha'ban. We have how many days? 5 days, whatever, right? If you have a day that you have not fasted from last Ramadan, and you should have done it let's say 3 days. That means this is your last opportunity to make up those days. If next Ramadan arrives and you did not make up the days from last Ramadan, what happened? Anybody can guess? You have to make it up and you have to feed. You have to feed for every day. Again, if you have no excuses, if you were sick or traveling the whole year, you have excuses. But if you have no excuses and you delay your qada, the day you miss, from Ramadan to the next Ramadan, then when that Ramadan finish, then you gotta not only make it up, but you have to feed for every day. We'll talk about that in a minute, what feed means. This has happened usually with sisters because they delay their qada because of pregnancy and this and that, and may Allah help them. Sexual intercourse, let's talk about this. This is a very interesting topic. This one, the only thing that nullify siyam, that it is very major sin, and it has a more complication when someone did that. So, and of course, we're talking during the day, not night. During the day. If a man and woman have intercourse, and can I be explicit? I apologize. When I said intercourse, that means you know what I'm talking about. Like the whole thing, even if there is no ejaculation. Even if there's no ejaculation, that's considered intercourse according to Sharia. Just want to be sorry to be too explicit. La haya fi din. So he has to make up the day with kafara. What is the kafara? This is the scary thing about this kafara. According to all ulama, no disagreements. What is the kafara? He has to either free up a sound Muslim slave, which we don't have anymore. So that means he has no choice but going to number 2, which is fasting 2 consecutive lunar months. 2 consecutive lunar months. That means if this person is fasting 45 days, 55, and then he missed 1 day. He has to repeat that 2 months again. It's pretty scary. It's pretty scary. Imagine that. Some ulama, and I'm not going to discuss this, they have different ruling, and this is a little more academic, very advanced stuff that I want to talk about. It's basically for every day. Let's say the person has intercourse 3 days in Ramadan. Some madhab, they said you have to make it up for every day you messed up. 60 days, 60 days, 60 days. And some ulama said no, it's only for that Ramadan, only 60 days. So different opinion, just want to highlight that. It's pretty significant, very. If the person health-wise cannot fast 60 days, what should he do? Or she do? He or she. Then they can feed 60 needy, and this is agreed by all ulama. This is Hadith Bukhari Muslim. No questions? We good? Okay. Here comes another very interesting topic that comes up always in Shawwal. So let's imagine you missed a couple days in Ramadan because you were traveling or sick. And come Shawwal, the question I always been asked, can I combine my 6-day Shawwal and Qada? Can I make up my 6-day Shawwal with Qada? Common question. According to ulama, you cannot combine Qada and Shawwal together. Why? Because Shawwal is one of the specific, not reoccurring, unique fasting. Therefore, you can combine the Qada with Monday and Thursday, but you cannot combine it with Shawwal. Just like you cannot combine it with Arafah or, Ashura and Arafah. Is that clear? Okay. Okay. Now there comes another question that comes up after Ramadan. So the question is, can I make up my days and then do Shawwal? Should I do Shawwal and then make up my days? The first opinion by Madhab al-Hanbali, because they use this hadith explicitly, it says, Qala Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm going to display before I go there. The hadith says, من صام رمضان ثم أتبعه ستا من شوال كان كصيام الدهر. It's very clear. It said, whoever fasts Ramadan, the whole Ramadan, and follow it by 6 days Shawwal, he will be getting the award of fasting the whole year. So the first opinion by Madhab Hanbali said, wait a minute. He said, Man Sama Ramadan. That means the whole Ramadan, you're supposed to finish it. But if you did not finish Ramadan, you missed 3 days, then you're not supposed to do the 6 day Shawwal. See how their explanation. Other ulama said no, and this is the strongest opinion. You can do Shawwal and then do Qada, because you have the whole year to make it up. Right? So let me explain this one more time, brothers. If your wife missed some days, whatever the day, how many days, don't deprive her from Shawwal. It is one of the opportunity, only comes once a year. Do Shawwal and then make up. You still have extra days. Okay? Especially if she missed the whole Ramadan. You're not going to deprive her from Shawwal. Do Shawwal, then make up the days. If it's only like 3 or 4 days, you could do 3 days and do Shawwal. You know what I mean? You just have to not miss the Shawwal. That's basically my opinion. Pregnancy and breastfeeding. This is very controversial. There's a lot of detail. I'm going to try to be very simple, inshallah. The first one, there's misconception, by the way, among sisters. I have been asked, even here in Ramadan, about the brother would come to me and say, my wife is breastfeeding. Can she just eat? They have this misconception that any sister who breastfeeding or pregnant, she should just automatically break the fast. This is very wrong misconception. There's no ulama allow that. If she's alive, there's no danger. The doctor said, you know what, Mrs. Samina, you are okay. There is no danger on you and on your baby. Then she has to fast. Is obligated on her to fast. But if the doctor said, you know what, it's going to hurt you, it's going to give you this, it's not healthy for the baby or something, then she has to break the fast. She has to break the fast. Okay. Now, Rasul ﷺ said in hadith, إن الله عز وجل وضع عن المسافر شطر الصلاة والصيام وعن الحامل والمرضع. That means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has waived the salat and fasting for the traveler and the pregnant women and the sick. And this is where I should say, siyam anil hamil murdi. I forgot the word here, which is the breastfeeding in that translation. So anyway, always check with the doctor. That's my humble advice before the wife or your daughter make any decision like that. Okay, what happened if she break the fast? This is going to be very interesting. The first one, for women who breastfeeding, if the doctor told her there is harm on you, only you, or your baby, then it's agreed by ulama, she has to make up her days. And the reason why they made that decision is siyaq anil marid. That means there is same ruling apply as to a sick person who's also allowed to make it up. Now, the same thing for whether it's breastfeeding or the same ruling. No problem there. Here comes the little bit controversy. If she's afraid of a doctor said there is harm possibly on your baby, whether it's breastfeeding, whether it's pregnant. There is so many opinions on this. I just share with you some of them. Ulama like Al-Hanafi, they said that the qada only. She just have to, make it up. Madhab Maliki, they have multiple opinions about that. Shafi'i, the same. Al-Hanbali, where they said, if she eats, she broke the fast, whether breastfeeding woman or pregnant, if she did that just for the baby, she has to make it up and feed for every day she missed. And this is the Madhab Maliki, Hanbali, Shafi'i. The Madhab Hanafi said, no problem, just make up your days. You don't have to feed. Okay. What else can I share with you here? If a woman was pregnant for 1 year and breastfeeding the following year, you know, there are people, some system, subhanAllah, they have like 3 years of baby breastfeed, baby. In 3 years, they have not fast. And subhanAllah, it's so tough. Some ulama said, you know what? Even if it took you for that long, just make it up. I know it's harsh. And some ulama said, no, she can feed. And Allah knows the best. I follow the opinion that she can just make it up. But if health-wise, it's difficult for her to do, health-wise, the doctor said don't do, then she can feed. Now, if someone died, passed away during Ramadan, what should we do? If a deceased person has another to fast, or qada, another, you guys know what another, that means a vow. He made a vow to Allah, right? This is the thing we discussed earlier. So he said, Ya Allah, if my son graduates from school, I'm going to fast 3 days. Those 3 days called another fast. That means he's obligated to fulfill that. Just like Ramadan, obligated. Let's say this person he made a vow with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's going to fast, or he has some missing day that from Ramadan. And he died. He died in the middle of Ramadan. What should he do? There's a different opinion about this again. This is never easy when it comes to fiqh. There's always some different opinion. Madhab al-Hanbali, Hanafi and Maliki, they said his inheritor, they have to give fidya from the property he left. Fidya from the property. So for every day that he missed, they have to feed a needy from the money that he left. Other ulama, like in Madhab Shafi'i Hanbali, they said he can just have one of his, son or daughter or family to make up those days that he missed. And this is one of the popular opinion, wallahu alam. So if someone died and told his son or daughter, you know what, I'm going to tell you, maybe he left a wasiyah or something, and this is one of the opinion of Madhab al-Maliki, Hanafi has to have a wasiyah. That means he left some wasiyah and said, look, I've got some few days that I'm still has to make up. And he told his family, then his family should make it up for them. And this is maybe the strongest opinion, wallahu alam. The remaining days for Ramadan, if he died on a 10th day of Ramadan, he still have 20 days to go. He has nothing to worry about that because he did not go through it. Okay? So that's the opinion. Sunnah of fasting, of course, dua. You know that dua in Ramadan is accepted. In this beautiful dua, Rasulullah always say, they said, ذهب الظمأ وابتلت العروق وثبت الأجر إن شاء الله. This is one of the hadith that Rasulullah used to say always. We should kind of remember that. Any dua is good, inshallah. As-suhoor, وما أدراك ما السحور. I don't know how many people actually, they eat 1, 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and then they go to sleep. Rasulullah said, make suhoor because in suhoor there is barakah. There is a lot of blessing. It will give you that strength and so forth. And it's something really, really part of the sunnah. So it's something we should always make sure we stick to it. When it comes to suhoor and futur, Rasulullah said, لا يزال الناس بخير ما عاجل الفطر متفق عليه. That means you should, when it comes to iftar, you should not wait until Salat al-Maghrib is over. As soon as you hear adhan, you should take a date and break the fast. And that's how you expedite the futur. As far as suhoor, you're allowed to do suhoor all the way to right before Fajr. That's when you stop eating. I'm going to talk about that. One of the controversy topic usually comes up about when can I break the suhoor? At what point should I stop? Just give me a minute. Next one, you have to use date, right? Date is, everybody use date, no controversy there. Rasulullah said, إذا أفطر أحدكم فليفطر على تمر فإنه بركة فإن لم يجد فليفطر على ماء فإنه طهور. And this hadith Sahih al-Albani. Similar thing we should not do. It's called dislike acts of fasting. The first one is that I said earlier when I talked about maqasid ibn Qadama, maqasid salikin, and I said siyam has different layer, right? I said the first siyam is eating, drinking, staying away from intimacy. The second layer of fasting is fasting of tongue, of the hand, the body. The third layer is the fasting of the heart, right? We talked about that. Well, Rasulullah, one of the things that doesn't nullify fasting, this question comes up a lot. What happened if I lie? What happened if I, got in a fight with somebody? What happened if I backbite someone, right? Is my fasting nullified? No. It's still acceptable, but you lost its value. You lost its value. It's just like a house, a beautiful house. It meets all the safety thing, but it's not decorated. It doesn't have a good value like a nice home. You understand? It does have all the structure, but that's what siyam is. So stay away from anything, foul speaking, anger, all that stuff that people do generally. Another thing about kissing spouse with pleasure, this is also dislike. Why is dislike? Anytime you hear the word makruh, that means makruh can lead to something haram. That's why it's called makruh. That means stay away from it. Excessive water sniffing. When you do istinshaq and istinshar, Rasulullah told us in hadith that أسبغ الوضوء وخلل بين الأصابع وبالغ في الاستنشاق إلا أن تكون صائما. Yeah, in outside Ramadan, when you do wudu, you should excessive, do what they call excessive washing. But in Ramadan, you should not do that. Why? Same thing I said earlier. The nose is the closest to the throat. So anytime you do that and you do it forcefully, you're going to end up getting water in your throat and you break the fast. So stay from that. Okay, other concern. This is the question that comes up a lot. So Al-Adhan of Fajr is going on. I'm going to ask you this question, and I'd like to hear your opinion, because some ulama locally and internationally, they say a different thing about this. So let's say, I've had one guy said this. So Adhan is going on, Fajr, and you have bottled water. And he said, yeah, I just drink. Adhan is going on. You can't be drinking. Because they have something, maybe some athar about the Prophet ﷺ where he had a date, small thing. They use that as evidence. Wallahu alam, and I know what's the sihhat, the hadith. If you have something, put it down. Don't eat. When Adhan is going on, that's it. There is no eating. Now, if something in your mouth, you are chewing, you're eating, you shouldn't be going to this point anyway. You should stop eating before Adhan comes up. But if something happened, you're eating it in your mouth, different opinion. Some ulama said, just finish. This may be the strongest opinion, Allah alam. Just finish. If you're eating it, just finish. Adhan is going on. But don't grab another bite. Okay. The second thing, if you food in your hand, we talk about that. When should you break the fast in a plane? You're flying, right? You're flying. When you're going to break the fast? Ulama said you should look at the window. If you see sunset, darkness, then this is very important. Doesn't matter what Dallas, and let's say you're in Dallas, and you're in, you're in, I don't know which state between here and California, and then Dallas has already started the iftar. Don't worry about Dallas and don't worry about California. Right? In other words, let me explain. Maybe I confuse you here. Let's say you go in, that's not a good example, California, because California has its own issues. Let's say I'm flying to somewhere, international, and I don't know when this iftar, when can I break the fast? Ulama said it's all about the locality of your plane, wherever it is. The moment you hit sunset, then do iftar. Okay? Another issue comes up. Someone is going to California. Let's say in here, how many days, how many hours? 10, 20 hours we're going to fast, maybe. If you go to California, that's extra what? 3 hours? 2 hours, right? That's extra. That's a long day. And people complain, wow, man, I got to wait all the way to go to California to break my fast because you're going to the West, right? So you have a choice. If you think it's going to be difficult for you, Allah gave you the permission to break the fast. So don't fast. Just make intention before the night before. Say, I'm not going to fast. I'm going to California. I have been given permission. I'll do it. If you have strength and you want to do it, do it. You understand? I just want to make sure, very clear on that. All right. I think that's all I have. I'll open up we have maybe 15 minutes before Isha. And just ask if you have any questions that comes up in mind. Yes. So everybody can hear your question.
I just had this thing came to my mind. So, if you cannot do qada of like a fast that you missed, and you're too poor to feed needy, then what do you do in that
Okay.
situation?
Yeah. So there is hadith Rasulullah where a man had intimacy with his wife. It's a famous hadith. I'm sure you heard it. And he comes to the Prophet ﷺ. Rasulullah said, "Free the slave." Oh, I don't have a slave. Can you fast? He said, "I can't. I'm an old man." Then he said, "Can you feed 60?" "I don't have no money. I'm poor." Then Rasulullah give him some dates and he said, you go give this as sadaqah. So Rasulullah allowed that. Like if, and this is uncommon, like especially in US, somebody would have something to feed. And by the way, fidya, since you brought it up, brother, and fidya is about $10 to $12 per day. It's not a lot of money. But if someone actually has none, community can help him, his family can help him, and if he doesn't have any, inshallah, he's forgiven. Because Rasulullah allowed this Sahabi to not do anything, because he doesn't have any. But that's uncommon, right? But fidya is definitely, it's a long discussion about fidya and how many pounds and this and that. It's a 2.85 pound of wheat, according to Hanafi. And other madahib, they said almost half, 2.86 or something. So it's a long discussion where this money, this fidya come from. But for us, nobody's going to give wheat. Right? Nobody's going to take wheat if you give that as a gift. So you should just give money. And that's agreed by our ulama, contemporary scholar, $10 to $12. Any other question?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
About that breaking the fast in due to the intercourse, the 2 months fasting is there, right?
Yeah.
But for the drinking intentionally and eating intentionally, there is no
Yeah,
fast.
there is no kafara except one madhab Maliki.
No,
Very strict about that.
Hanafi has that much like that. They have to, fast for 2 months. Either they break the fast by any reason. The Hanafi says.
Yeah, Hanafi. Inshallah, it's, like I said, I try to display all the opinions for you guys because some of you are very one madhab and madhab. But a lot of us don't follow any madhab. So I share with you my own opinion, what I follow. I don't follow any madhab. I just take whatever is the strongest. Allahu alam. Anybody has a question? Or should I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Okay. One time I was about 16 or something, and I was cutting my nail. And my aunt said, "You broke the fast." I'm not kidding you. She said, "You broke the fast." I said, "Wow, where did that come from?" I mean, you'd be surprised how many misconceptions, so many ignorance out there. So this is something you have to be careful with. What else I can tell you? Something that usually common question that been asked. I can't think of.
I had a question.
Sure.
So the time that shows in the calendar for the prayer, and is that the time when you should stop
Okay.
eating suhoor, or is it like 15, 20 minutes
Oh,
earlier?
yeah. Very, very good question. Brother is asking a very, very good question. So, okay. So there is a Fajr. Fajr actually has different angles, right? There is 6 degree, there's 12 degree, then there's 15 degree, then 18 degrees, right? The most popular one are 15 degrees and 18 degrees. 18 degrees, that means you have to break fast way earlier. 15 degrees is what we follow. So if you go to app like Islam Pro, right? The most popular one? Islam Pro. If you go to Islam Pro and click on location, it's going to tell you 15 degrees. And that's what we follow. We follow 15 degrees. APAC follow 15 degrees. It is the strongest opinion, 15 degrees. 15 degrees is what puts you right at that time. Fajr, local time right now, I think 5:55. And 5:55 is 15 degrees. If you go 18 degrees, it would be probably 5:40 something. It would be way earlier. Right? So my advice is follow your local masjid, inshallah. APEC and us follow the same way, 15 degrees. You'll find the calendar exact the same thing, our local time.
So a lot of Hanafi masjids, so like the one that I follow 18 degrees.
Yeah.
So should we follow that
Sure.
then?
Yeah, but my advice, and it's up to you, your choice, because I'm not going to force you to do it. If you want to follow 18 degrees, alhamdulillah. If 18 degrees, that means you're going to break fast way earlier. So it's 5:55. You're probably going to be doing 15 minutes before, right? And there's a lot of discussion and madhab. The Fiqh Council of U.S., North America, they follow 15 degrees. Many ulama follow 15 degrees. So that's the opinion I follow. That's what our masjid follow. But like I said, it's no harm. If you want to do 18 degrees, do it earlier. Alhamdulillah. It's all good. No problem. I know I can't think of a lot of questions, but it's not coming up. Maybe inshallah, after Isha, I'm going to have just Q&A tonight. That's it. Because we didn't have a lot of attendance in Maghrib. But after that, we'll have all questions, and I'm sure they will be asking me so many questions. There was a brother last year who came up to me. You know, when you get to age 40, maybe 50, you have to do that scope. They put in your body to check your intestines, right?
Colonoscopy.
Yeah. The question is that a break Ramadan fast or not? I'm asking you, it doesn't, unless there is a fluid. If they inject any liquid there or anything, anytime you have liquid going to your from any part of your body, the stomach, that will break your fast. But generally, I mean, I think we covered pretty much a lot of area. I'm just, inshallah, maybe if you think of something, then Isha will have more opportunities for questions.
I had one more question.
Sure.
Is there in any madhab there is opinion that is it afzal to not fast when you're traveling? Do you remember anything like that?
About what?
Like, is it like afzal? Like, is it like is it better if you not fast if you're
you didn't
traveling?
travel.
Yeah, during travel.
Yeah.
Is there in
So
any madhab?
المذهب الحنبلي, they said take a rukhsa. Take a rukhsa. It's better to take a rukhsa and not fast. They're very easy on this. You know, and ulama said, you know what, it's your choice. You know, you can break the fast if you're traveling. You want to fast. You know, alhamdulillah, you get choice. But the madhab Hanbali specifically, they said, Rasulullah sallallahu and Allah, they like someone take his rukhsa. They mean his permission. And
for doing this.
Yeah.
Taking rukhsa.
oh, if you fast,
No. I mean, when somebody take rukhsa of Rabb al-Alameen in his whatever, Like one of the things that I heard, it's part out of the topic, today's topic, like if you pray while wearing your shoes, while you're outside, you get also credit for that, deeds for that.
Oh, for following Sunnah.
Yes, exactly.
Inshallah,
Yeah.
inshallah. Yes. I mean, it's the more you do, the better. And Rasul says, وَأَن تَصُومُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. وَأَن تَصُومُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. The ayah. If you fast, it's better for you. And he's talking about traveling. So Ulama said, Hanbali said, oh, yeah, you should. But it's a different opinion. Allah alam, it's all good. If you're traveling, you want to fast, you don't fast, it's all good. Inshallah. So if you think of some questions, we'll have more Q&A after Isha. Inshallah. جزاكم الله خير. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. And of course, my number is in WhatsApp.